Hello, good day. Um, I hope all is going well and you are also practicing. Today we're going to still focus on the table, that is the insert ribbon. We couldn't finish the previous lesson, so let's try to finish that today. And today I'll try solving the assignment with you so that you can also practice it yourself. So let's get it started. So we all know that we have to come to table. But the unfortunate thing is, yeah, in our last slide, we couldn't treat this command, which is the insert table, draw table, Excel spreadsheet, and then quick tables. So this is what we're going to look at today, and we'll also try to create a timetable with 6 periods. Let me know how it will work. So let's start. This is the insert table. You can see from the grid view that it contains 10 by 8 maximum number of rows and columns. But let's say a situation whereby we want more than 10 by 8 columns and rows. How do we go about it? So let's see. If we should point our mouse or hover on the various grid or boxes we have here, you will see that we have 10 by 8, showing the maximum number of tables that this grid view could give us. So let's say we want more than 10 columns and 8 rows. So how are we going to go about this? With this one, we are lucky to have this command called the insert table. So you click on the insert table and then you have the insert box appearing before you. And this is it. This is showing the total size of the table you want. And then by specifying the number of columns you have and then the number of rows you want. Now, the number of columns you have, you can type any number you want here. So supposing you want about 15 columns, you can type it here. Remember, with the grid view we had about the maximum was 10, but here you can type 15, 20, depending on what you want to use it for. And then we have number of rows, where you can type the number of rows. And remember, with the grid view we had about 8, and here we can type about 10, 15, 20, 30, and so forth. So let's give it a try. So here I'm going to type 15 columns and let's say 20 rows. Then when you are done, you click on OK. I mean this one, OK. Now you can see that the grid view didn't permit us to have about more than 10 columns. The maximum was 10, but then with the insert table, we've been able to insert maximum of 15 columns and then some impressive number of rows. So this is it. This is it. So now let's go to the table and see. Now we have another command called draw table. Let's see how we can use the draw table. Or by now you know how to delete a table. You just have to click on this 4-arrow cursor. You just click on this 4-arrow cursor and then you press the backspace and you are done. Okay, so let's move on. With a draw table, let's say you have a particular shape of table or a particular design of table that you want to draw yourself. So you come to the table, insert table command, and then from there you see the draw table. Here you can use the draw table to draw your own table. So you first of all draw the exact size of the table you want. So this is the size of the table I want. Now, how about the divisions? How about the columns and then the rows? You can still use the same pencil cursor to draw the lines and then the columns. So watch how we do it. You just click and then you drag. You see that as I'm dragging, you are seeing some faded rectangles here. It is telling you that if you should leave your cursor now, this is how it is going to appear. So I'm going to leave my hand and then you see how it will appear. So you see that I've drawn another table or a box or a table with one column, one row inside the main table. Meanwhile, that is not what I wanted. So remember, some of you might come across the same problem. You might be trying to draw a particular line and then by mistake, it will turn into a box. So when it happens like that, you can just press the escape button and then you will click on this 4 arrow cursor. Then you press the backspace. Then you clear it. So let's say we want to draw again. Remember with our previous lesson, we said that once you insert a table, you have the design layout and then the design ribbon and then the layout ribbon. That is it. So instead of we going back to the insert table and then click on draw table, we can see that we have the draw table here already because we've already selected this table. So anytime you select this table, you have the various commands that will help you to modify your table here. So it's either you use the design tab or the design ribbon or the layout ribbon. Already I explained the difference between this design ribbon and then the layout ribbon from the one you use to modify or manipulate your table. So watch the previous lesson. Okay, so here we can pick the same draw here, and you see that our cursor has changed to a pencil again. So now, in order not to make the same mistake we did by having this box, you always have to make sure that your pencil is closer to the line. You see that once it is closer to the line you are drawing, it will have a straight line. And then you leave your hand. Then you come again, you draw, you leave your line, you leave your hand, you click, you drag, so in that order. So here we are determining the spaces within that is supposed to appear in our table. And we can as well decrease or increase the size of a particular row or column. So let's move on. So let's try to divide the table. So we have this. Now you can see that we are drawing our column. We are drawing our columns. Good. So when we are done, we can just press the escape button so that this pencil will go because we don't need it anymore. And then you select the entire table, and if you want them to have equal columns, you click on this one, and if you want them to have equal rows, you click on this one. So you see that they are having equal rows. The sizes for the various rows are the same. Good. Now let's look at something. We can also choose to erase some part of our table. So let's say you want to erase this border. Watch how I've positioned my eraser. So I click on it, I click on this one, I click on this one. For you to confirm that your border or your line has been deleted, let's zoom it and see. You see that end, the border has turned to dotted lines, short dotted lines. It means that when you should print, that place, that border wouldn't show. So let's go back to our insert table and then continue from there. So what is the next thing that we can do? We still have the eraser, so you will press the escape button and then it will go. So let's look at the table command and see what is next. The next thing we have there is the spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet. So let's delete this one. We have the Excel spreadsheet. This is it. Now we use this Excel spreadsheet whenever we wish to work with tables that have the functions of Microsoft Excel. So in order not to go to Microsoft Excel and then type in everything there, we can be here in Microsoft Word and then use the Excel here. Yes, that is what I said. You can be in Microsoft Word and still use the Excel here. So let's say you are trying to write a report, and then after the report, you are supposed to create a table with, let's say, some product with unit price, quantity, and others. So let's say we are trying to create an invoice. You can just use this command, the Excel spreadsheet, to work in Excel whilst in Microsoft Word. So let's give it a try. So you see that we are having the exact view of Excel. So look at something. You can see that the entire face has changed to Microsoft Excel. And you can see that the document title is still Microsoft Word. And then the rest of the page we have here is still the page of Microsoft Word. But then we are seeing a particular image here which contains the interface of Excel. Yes, where we have the various fields being cells, this one being cells, here being columns, here being rows. So in that order. So let's try to see how best we can use this. In Excel, we have what is called address bar. That is where, sorry, formula bar. We have what is called formula bar. In Excel, we have what is called formula bar, and this is it. This is where you can input your formula. So let's try to say, let's say we have let's create exams report. So we have names of students. We could have Bernard. We could have Cynthia. We could have Martin. We could have Frank. So here could be CA1, CA1 or test 1, CA2. Let's say here is total of CA. And then here is exam. And then here is uh, total marks, right? So you can say here is 20, 20, and then we can do the calculations. So we use the Excel formula, sum, the bracket, this, and then that. Then you close it and you press enter. We have the calculation here. So you see, we are still working in Microsoft Word. But we are still doing the calculations using Excel. So let's try to check the exam. But before, let's try to check for the um, let's try to check for, let's say we are scaling the CA to 30%. So I mean we're going to find 30% of this 40. We're going to scale it to 30%, right? Good. So what do? We just have to enter the formula here. Equal to, now 30%, right? So 30 divided by 100 times this particular cell. Then you press enter. Hello? Did you see that? Good. So let's try to move on. You can have the exam. You can have the exam whereby the exam score was 60. So we try to add this and then that. So that is it. You can still use, and then when you are done, you just have to go back and then double click on the empty page you have here. So this is what I'm saying. You double click here, anywhere here, anywhere here. So let me double click. Now look at something. You can see that everything has been left on the page. So that is it. You can still use Excel whilst in Microsoft Word. Sometimes you wouldn't have to go and then create your own table. So this one is really perfect when you are trying to work on something yourself. So let's move on. The next thing is quick tables. So let's look at the quick table, the quick tables, and this is it. Here, the quick tables are just already designed samples that we have with Microsoft Word. So let's say if you want to insert a table, you have the opportunity to choose from some list of tables that are designed in a calendar form. So you can use this one to design a calendar, and then this one, and then there are more down there. So you can see some are in periodic table. You can see some are in periodic table, or what we say the Greek alphabet, and then we have the matrices, and then we have some more business tables. So this is it, right? This is it. So whenever you want to use any design, any table that you think you want to choose from the list of samples, you can just try to click from the list of tables we have here. So we can say, let's give it a try. I would like to try the student enrollment table where we have, so this one is enrollment table for local colleges. So if you want to do anything that you think you love this design, you can just click here and then start editing. That is all you have to do. So you just have to highlight, press the backspace, then you start editing. I mean, type whatever you want. So that is very easy. So that is just by the way. So I think we are done with the table. So let's try to create a table of let's say a school timetable. So we have to design a timetable with 6 periods. The heading of the timetable should read Nsaba Senior High, and we are being expected that we use the font 20 point, and also Nsaba's Presbyterian Senior High School should be on a different line, whilst the ICT 2 timetable 2 will be on a different line. Now we are to cover a timetable from Monday to Friday, and then we have been noted that the starting time, or we have been noted that 9:30 to 10:30 is for the first break, and then 12:30 to 1:30 is for the second break. And now this is the duration for each period. So the first period is from 7:30 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9:30, and then 9:30 to 10:30. And we've been informed here already that 9:30 to 10:30 is for the first break. And then we have 10:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 12:30. And then we've been notified that 12:30 to 1:30 is for the second break. And then we have 1:30 to 2:30, and then 2:30 to 3:30. And then that ends for the day. So let's try to create this timetable and see how best we can cope with it. Okay, so let's have our blank page. What is the name of the school? This is it. So this should be on a separate line. You've been asked to use 20 points, and this is what we mean by the point 20. Good. and we've been asked to center align our heading. So let's see. Okay, you didn't say that, but then to make our work very clean, let's try to position it at the center by using this or pressing Ctrl plus E. I just love to use shortcut. So now this is where we can insert our table. Now, because the size for this table was 20, if we should move to another line, you can see that because our text is already on the center alignment, if we should press enter again, we will have our cursor starting from the center. So you only have to go and click back the left alignment or align left. I love to use shortcut key, which is Ctrl L. And you can see that it has also inherited the size from the previous line, which is this one. So we still have to go back and then change the size of our font. So I'll choose 12. Good. So what is the next thing? The next thing is we try to insert our table. So we have 6 period. Listen to this very carefully. With a table, we have 6 period. And then you know that the periods are in columns. They are going to be in columns. And then the days too are going to be in a particular column. And then the break time too is going to be in a particular column. So in all, the column for the days, and then the column for the 2 break time being 3, and then the column for the very periods that we're going to make sure that we establish them in the table are 6. So 6 plus 3 is going to be 9. So let's look at it. So we try to insert 9 columns. So this is 9 columns. And how many days are we going to have the timetable to cover? Monday to Friday, which is of course 5 days, right? So we need 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now remember that the first row, which is this place, is going to keep the heading, whereby here will be for the day, and then here will be for the time period, right? And then so let's try to look at it. So we're going to insert 9 columns and then 6 rows. Remember the heading and then down there. So 6 rows. So we know the first one to be for days. I don't like the position of this one, so I want to center it. So I come to the home, center, and then it is too close to the top border. I want the space here and then the space here to be very even. So I just select that one and then I go to layout. This layout that is used to design the table. So I click on this layout and then you can see that we have align center here. Then look at how it positioned my text. So I can select the whole text in the table. If I really want to center them very well, then I will center them very well. Good. So now I'm left with typing the various courses here within these cells. Within these cells. A cell is just one row and one column within these cells. Right? So let's look at the information we have there. What is the first subject for Monday? So we have core maths. starting from 7:30 to 9:30. It is stating that it has two periods, that is double. So instead of 7:30 to 8:30, it is 7:30 to 9:30. Be careful and watch it very well. So 7:30 to 9:30. But look at something. It's 7:30 to 8:30 here, and then 8:30 to 9:30. So how are we going to make sure that the whole of this place will be for commas? This means that we have to merge the cell. We have to merge the cell. So how do we merge the cell? So we have to merge the cell. So first, let's type commas. So this is commas. So how do we make sure that commas is covering 7:30 to 9:30? It is not of the best practice to type here commas again. So what we have to do is we merge the cell. So you select the two cells you want to merge. You right click, then go to merge cell. This is it. Merge cell. Right? Good. So we right click and we click on merge cell. Now let's look at what will happen. Look, it has cleared the line we had here. The border or the line that was separating these two separate cells are no more. So now it is seeing it as one cell, right? Let's go to what is there for 9:30 to 10:30. So let's look at the next item we have on the list. So we are saying social studies. That is for 10:30 to 11:30. So let's see. Where is 10:30? This is 10:30 to 11:30. So this is it. We type it here. That is social studies. Right? Good. Now, what is the next thing do we have here? Let's go and check. So the next thing is integrated science. It is saying one period, and it starts from 11:30 to 12:30. So integrated science, right? So let's go to what we have on the list again. The next one is geography. Geography is starting from 1:30 to 3:30, and it is double period, 1:30 to 3:30. So let's see where 1:30 starts. So 1:30 is here. So geography, and we know that it is double period. So what are we going to do? It is double period. So we are going to do the exact thing we did here to this one. So do it now. Pause the video and then do it. Remember, whilst you practice, you have to be pausing the videos whilst you do it. So we right click here and we go to merge cells. Right? Good. So let's go to what we have for Tuesday. Let's go to Tuesday. Tuesday we have government, and government is one period starting from 7:30 to 8:30. So government 7:30 to 8:30. Do we have 7:30 to 8:30 here? Good. So government. You see that as we type, it is changing the shape of our table. So when we are done, we have to make sure that we put our table in a perfect design to ensure that everything looks very nice. So we have government starting from 7:30 to 8:30. Let's go to the next thing. The next thing is English, which is one period starting from 8:30 to 9:30. So 8:30 to 9:30, we have English. What else do we have? We have elective maths, two periods starting from 10:30 to 12:30. Elective maths, yes, this is 10:30, sorry. And we are saying that elective maths is two periods. Let's look at it. Two periods, 10:30 to 12:30. 10:30 to 12:30, which means it is 2 periods. So what do we have to do? Let's highlight, or sorry, let's select these two cells and then merge them. So now we've merged the two cells. So now we can say that from 10:30 to 12:30 is for only elective maths. Let's go to the next one. What do we have on the list again? We have physical education from 1:30 to 2:30. Physical education. So where is 1:30? This is 1:30 to 2:30. So physical. You see, as we keep typing, then it will be changing the shape, the structure of our table. So let's go to the next thing we have on the item for Tuesday. The next thing is integrated science. 1 period again. So 2:30 to 3:30. 2:30. Sorry. Right? So let's go to Wednesday. What do we have for Wednesday? Wednesday we have core maths and it has 2 periods. Again, starting from 7:30 to 9:30. Right? Core maths. Starting from 7:30 to 9:30. So it is also a double period. So let's right click and then merge it. What do we have on the file again? Social studies 1 period. Social studies 1 period. And what time is it starting? So 10:30 to 11:30. Good. Social. And then what is the next thing? The next thing is integrated science 1 period. Good. Integrated science 1 period. So what is the next thing for Wednesday? We have geography 2 periods. Okay. So what do we have to do? This time again, we have to merge two cells. Hope you've seen it. So we can do this for the rest of the instructions left on the assignment. So do that yourself and then try to make sure you get everything right. Now you have to save the work with your index numbers and full name. So let's try to look at where the break is, the break time, the first break. Now, you see, as we were typing, we never bothered about the break time because the break time is there. We all were only bothered about where to fix in our course, our subject, and then the time. So now that we are done with our subject and then the time they are supposed to happen, we can go ahead and then insert our break time. Okay. So you see that this is where we are supposed to have our first break, then the second break. So what do we have to do? We only have to select this column and then merge the cells here. And here too, we do the same and then merge the cells here. So we type first break. We type first break and here second break. Now let's look at something. We have to change the direction of the text within this column so that the text will be moving upwards. That is from bottom to the top. So bottom up approach. And then this one to be bottom up approach, right? So we are changing the direction of the text. So the only thing you have to do is either you use the command we have here, and then when we are done, we can use this one, or you will just have to right click where we've selected, and then use the command we have here, text direction, whichever way it will work. So I prefer to use this one, text direction. We are being asked to choose from text orientation. So we can choose from the list of text orientation we have here. So this one is on the horizontal line, like straight line, and this one is from bottom up approach. This one is top down approach. So we will go for the bottom up approach so that our text will be heading facing up. So let me select this one. You click on it, and then this is a preview of how your text is going to appear in the table. So you select it. You see our text is now here. Now, what can we do to make sure that our text fits exactly into the space here? Good. So with this one, look at something. When our text was on the straight line, the various instructions here, the various commands here were also facing uh, straight, on the straight line, on the horizontal line. But as we change the direction of the text here, the buttons here have also what changed. They are all facing up. So what we can do is to use them to position the text at the exact place that we want. First, what matters to us is to use the alignment to position the text very well. Then we can format it. So let's try to look at it. Now, remember, before you can edit any text, you have to select it. So I'm selecting my text, and this is center align. This will place it at a position whereby the spaces around the text will be even. So let's look at something. You can see that once I click on it, the spaces below or beneath the letter and then above the letter is the same. Look at it. So you always have to use this one if you want it to be at the middle, then the center. Good. So let's move on. Now it's left with us to at least increase the size and then change the style of the font. So we can come to the home button, sorry, the home ribbon. There is it. The home ribbon where we have these various commands here. You come there and then we can click to select size. Let's see, want it to be full in it. And we want to change the case to caps. So uppercase. Good. So do the same thing to this one. Pause the video and then do the same thing to this one. I'm not going to do it for you. Okay, good. Let's try. If we're able to do it, good luck. If not to, let's try again. Now, when you select the text, all those commands that you need to change the direction and all that, you can find it here. But also you can use the right click to select it. So let's use the right click and then select this one and then click OK. Now, since we are done with changing the direction of the text, we also have to edit the direction and the position of the text. So you can do that by clicking on the layout, whereby you can see the various icons here or the commands here. So you click on this one, and that one is called align center. You click on it to position it evenly, and then you come back to the home tab to edit your text. So let's see which one will be enough to cover. Okay, I think this one is okay. Let's use the 22, and then let's change the case to uppercase. Now, you can see that once we change it to uppercase, the size becomes too big and it is not able to fit in there. So we can try to decrease the size by using the decrease font to see if it will be able to fit very well. And now, yes, it has been able to fit very well. The next thing is to check our table. If everything is positioned very well, is the position of the days the exact thing we want? I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be in the middle, like very at the center of it. So I can have it this way. So you can see it that now the text around here, you can see that the text around here and the text here are the same. The spaces we have around the text is the same, both at the bottom and at the top. So what about the time here? Is everything okay? Is it the same way we want it? Now you can see that with some, the dash are not fully arranged well. So what we can do is always remember that you do this thing when you are done with your table. Don't do it before you continue with the table. Maybe you'll not be able to finish before the time. So you can try to decrease the size of the text to see if you can have everything the way you want it. Now we've been able to achieve, but it is too small. So what we're going to do is we can enlarge it, and then some of the text we can decrease it, right? But whichever way, it is still going to be small. So you just have to check how best you can arrange it to fit very well. So maybe I should maintain it like that, or I'll decide to decrease it. Supposing I'm doing a very official work, I'll make sure that I design it in such a way that it will look very formal. So do that. Edit your table very well, and then let's move on. So with the heading, you can now increase the size, bold it to make it more visible. And with the borders of your table tool, you can now come to you can now select the entire layout, and then you go to the outside borders. Now with the outside borders, you can click here and then you edit it. So let's try to look at something. Now I want to change the borders of my outline, so I can click on this one and then I'll make it deep. But then I'm only going for the box. So you can see that we have this one here, box. Now when you click on this one, there wouldn't be any line within your table. You wouldn't see any line. When you click on this, meaning that you're going to the size of the line you are choosing should cover both the columns and then the rows. And then when you pick this one, meaning that the size you picked here should only affect the borders. So I'll be picking it one by one and you'll be seeing the preview here. So good. Now you can see that there's no line showing here in my table. When you pick this one, you see that you have line only around your table. And when you pick this one, you have the line is selected, the width of the line is selected, applying to every. So just be clicking through to see what you want. This is what I want, only for the size of the border that I chose to be around my table. That is all I want. So I will click it and let's see. You see that the border of my table is showing very deep. Very deep. So this is it. This is how to create a timetable. So you can go ahead and then be checking the positions of your text. If it is not well arranged, you can try to arrange it very well. So let's say for instance this one, I don't like where it is, so I can come to the layout and then change it. And then this one to arrange everything very nice, and then have your work. So that's it. Very neat work. You are good to go. So I would love to see something exactly like this. Exactly like this. I will not accept anything below this. It should be exactly this or much better than what we have here. So follow the steps one by one and then do everything as I've just demonstrated. Thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe and then so that you will get a notification anytime I upload a new lesson, and then we move on. Thanks very much.